What's going on? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to start the pathway on TryHackMe. The pathway is preparing for COMPTIA Pentest Plus. So I'm going to establish or upload a series of videos to prepare for COMPTIA Pentest Plus based on the pathway recommended by TryHackMe. So it starts with basic tools, Nmap, Verbosity, Metasploit. In this video, we're going to do Nmap. And then we jump to application-based vulnerabilities, network-based vulnerabilities, and in each one of these, there are multiple rooms to enroll in. So basically, we're going to start with the pen testing tools, and right off the bat with Nmap. Okay, so in the Nmap, we get to learn the purpose of every switch, of every type of scan, and apply it on a target we have. Okay, let's see. So here we type the first thing to learn about Nmap is the help switch. So for example, Nmap-H gives us a list of all of these switches which correspond to a different kind of scan for different purpose. So you see we have here -F for evading firewalls, for decoy IPs, spoofing IP addresses. So every switch has its own objective that could be used in our scenario or could not be used in this scenario. So we can clear now, and the first type of scan is the stealth scan. We type sudo nmap and we type target. Okay, so what's the purpose of stealth scan? Presumably the stealth scan would make you evade the firewall. Okay, so if you have firewalls, intrusion prevention systems in place, this type of scan is the first step in evading firewalls. Of course, don't get this as a one piece to evade the firewall. The nmap scan or the nmap command syntax to evade firewall is more complex than that. But to understand the purpose of each switch, we've got to try them one by one individually or separately. So first we start with the stealth scan and we hit enter. We're gonna do more than one scan. So basically here, new tab, or let's split this. Okay. The second type of scan is the UDP scan. Okay, so we got the first result. So we have, based on the stealth scan, we get the number of ports open, which are 2. We have 2 ports open. One is on SSH and one is on HTTP. Okay. Let's now try a different type of scan. So the second type of scan is the UDP scan. So we type the same syntax. Okay, sudo nmap-su, that's the switch for UDP scan, and we type the IP address. All right. So, as you can see, the UDP scan has not yielded any meaningful results. Why? Basically because these ports are TCP ports. And since the machine is not running UDP ports or UDP or services that rely on UDP ports, the scan has not succeeded. So as you can see, nothing. So that's why it's saying use trypn. It thought that the target is or the target machine disabled the ping discovery. That's why it recommended us to use -pn, which is the switch used for disabling the ping discovery. So back to the answers and question. Often referred to as a stealth scan, what is the first switch listed for a synchronization scan? -ss. Okay. So not quite as useful, but how about UDP scan? The UDP scan is -s uppercase U. Okay. What about operating system detection? Okay, let's try how we can scan for OSs. So basically the same syntax, but we replace SS with O. This is for detecting the operating system. How about scanning for the version of the services running on port 22 and 80? This is useful if you want to enumerate for vulnerabilities. So we type sudo nmap -sv, enumerating the versions of the services running, and we type the target name, IP. Right, so we can see here the results of the OS detection. And the OS detection so far was the most detailed scan. Why? As we can see, we have listed the open ports and the services, right? And we can see here a speculation for the running OS. So here it's saying OS detection performed. Let's see above here, fingerprint, OS. So here, Linux. So the running target is Linux, and here we can see another speculation for Windows. But the first one is Linux, which is most probably it is the OS running on the target. So that's the OS detection scan. Let's go to the right here, and we see the result of scanning the versions. So as you can see here, we have returned the number of open ports, the services, and the version of the server or the application running, Apache HTTPD 247. This is very useful if you want to use search exploit or find an exploit that matches the version. OpenSSH version 66.1p1, Ubuntu 2.2. Okay, right. So far we have seen how to do stealth scan, how to do OS detection, how to scan for versions, and how to scan for UDP. Right, so now let's answer the questions. How about that? What about operating system detection? -O. How about service detection? All right. Most people like to see some outputs to know that their scan is actually doing things. What is the verbosity flag? What about very verbose? Sometimes saving outputs in a common document format can be really handy for reporting. How do we save output in XML format? Let's do these questions. Okay. So the next thing is doing the verbose scan. The verbose scan is when you want to display what Nmap is doing, right? Instead of waiting for the results to pop up, you see what Nmap is actually doing in the pipeline. So we type sudo nmap, and we don't use any switch, just use -v for verbosity and type the target IP. As you can see here, the output is being displayed, right? While Nmap is scanning. So as Nmap scans the target, we see every single step being done, every single stage. What about very verbose scan? Very verbose scan, instead of 1V, we type 2Vs. Okay, now let's get to a point where if you want to save the outputs, right, into a file, readable file, common format, as outlined in the question. So how do we do that? Let's say, for example, we want to scan for sudo nmap, scan for versions, enumerate the versions, enumerate the OS, and do stealth scan. No, this couldn't be actually. Okay, OS detection and versions, and save the output to XML file, for example, OX and the target name. And here we need to specify, let me do this. So here results, specify the file name, and here specify the target. As you can see, the file has been created here, results, The file will host the details of the scan. So if we, for example, type cat or nano results, we're not going to do that now. We're going to just wait for the scan to finish and then open the file. Let's see here. So verbose-v, verbose-vv -ox. So next one, aggressive scans can be nice when other scans just aren't getting the output that you want, and you really don't care how loud you are. What is the switch for enabling this? That's the first question. The second one, how do I set the timing to the maximum level, sometimes called insane? What about if I want to scan a specific port? Let's get these three first. So the first, aggressive scan. Okay, let's first examine the file, nano results. So this is the Nmap scan result, but in XML file format, right? And you can also open this in the browser, I guess. Let me open it. So this is the scan result in XML format. All right. So now we do the aggressive scan. The aggressive scan is used specifically in white box penetration testing when your client actually knows you are scanning the network, right? Plus, or additionally, they whitelist your IP address in their intrusion prevention system or firewall, if any, right? So that's when you use the aggressive scan in the white box testing, or if you don't care if there is a firewall or not. Sudo nmap -a 10 10 10 15. Okay, now the next step is to set the timing. So basically the timing, okay, let's talk about the timing. So sudo -nmap -t, insane level is T5, right? And we type 10 10. Now for the timing, there are 4 levels, 5 4 3 2 1. And these levels differ by or affect the speed of your scan, okay? Now let's type enter. So the aggressive results scan has finished. So we have the open ports. As you can see, there are we have too much details about every port, every service. This is the host key, RSA, DCSA, and these are details about the HTTP server. You can see the robots file, the login header, damn vulnerable web app. More details about every service running. That's the purpose of aggressive scan. Now 5 has finished, and the result of the timing of the scan doesn't affect the actual result. It only affects the speed. The third question, scanning specific ports. So for example, sudo nmap, if we know that the target is running a web server or SSH server, so we want to scan only that server, only that port. We use -p, okay, and we type the port name, 80 for example, and the target. So it's going to scan only port 80. As you can see, the results only port 80. Let's answer the questions. Aggressive scan -a, timing insane T5, specific port -p. How about if I want to scan every port? It's going to be very long. Okay, that's the first one. What if I want to enable using a script from the Nmap scripting engine? For this, just include the first part of the switch without the specification of what script to run. This is a scripting engine, which is very useful for enumerating the vulnerabilities. Okay, let's answer the first two first. So scanning all ports, instead of 80 we do type -p dash and we hit enter. It's going to scan for all ports. Usually this scan is very time consuming. Okay, so it's going to be your last resort in your penetration testing or in the enumeration gathering phase. Okay, so for scanning, for using the scripting engine, we're gonna do, for example, sudo nmap -- script. That's the switch. So you either specify now the location of the script, for example, user share. It was in, let me remember, I couldn't remember the location of the nmap scripting. Let me dark locate nmap. Okay, so it is user share nmap scripts. So for example, we define user share nmap scripts, and let's use something from there. Locate.nse grep http. So we have something about this. We can choose to use a specific nmap script to scan the HTTP server. For example, HTTP headers. Let's use this. We type the name of the script and the targets. I'm going to end the port scan because the all ports is going to be very long. Let's jump to the next one. Or let's first answer some questions. So, what if I want to enable the script -- script? What if I want to run all scripts out of the vulnerability category? Okay. What switch should I include if I don't want to ping the host? Great. Okay. So in order to use the vulnerability switch in the nmap scripting engine, we use -- script vuln. It will try all of the nmap scripts categorized under vulnerability, right? To scan for vulnerabilities, I mean. So you hit enter and you get the results. Let's scan. Let's examine the result of the nmap scan for the HTTP headers. So as you can see, we get the HTTP headers of the web server: date, server, the cookie, expires, cache control, all kind of headers that are used in the web server or the Apache web server. To disable the ping discovery, we type sudo nmap -pn 10 10 10 15. When do you need to use the ping discovery? Disabling the ping discovery. You would use that if you know that your target has disabled the ping discovery of their server, right? So use the switch to scan without using ping. We can use that switch, right, alongside other switches. For example, sudo nmap -sv enumerate for versions, disable ping discovery, and be aggressive, and timing 4, and output the results to specify the target first. Output the results to no ping. No ping here. Okay, answer the questions. -- script vuln. And here -pn. So right now we are done with most of the switches, not all of the switches, of course, but these are the basics, right? These are the basic switches you need to know in order to perform basic penetration testing in scan. Finished? No? What do we need else? Let's go down. Oh, what if I want to scan every port? -p-. Okay. Nmap scanning. So, perform some basic nmap scanning and learn to read through the results. Let's go ahead and start the basics and perform a sync scan on the box provided. What will this command be without the host IP address? What this command will be without the host IP address? So basically it's going to be like nmap, like that. After scanning this, how many ports do we find under 2000? As you remember, we have 2 ports, SSH on SSH and 1 on HTTP, so total is 2. What communication protocol is given for these ports following the port number? Here it's asking whether it is TCP or UDP. So HTTP and SSH are TCP protocols, so we type here TCP. Perform a service detection scan. What is the version of the software running on port 22? Okay, let's see. So we have already performed here a comprehensive scan or a wrap-up scan. We outline the version, or we highlight the version, asking enumerating the versions, disabling the ping, aggressive scan, timing for, and output the results on. Let's read through the results. No ping. Well, I want to open this with Google Chrome. No. Okay, this is good. Okay, so let's read through the results in the file here. So it's asking for the version of the SSH server running. So as you can see, we have service name. Where is the mouse? Okay, so here SSH product open SSH version 66p1. Let's take this, copy that, and we bring this here. Okay, perform an aggressive scan. What flag isn't set under the results for port 80? So there are flags or HTTP flags when you scan for web servers. These flags can be found when you scan them with Nmap. So let's find the HTTP server status, and here's the flag that is not set. HTTP only flag, not set. So the answer is HTTP only. Wrong? How about this? Okay. So here, perform the last question. Perform a script scan of vulnerabilities associated with this box. What denial of service attack is this box susceptible to? That's interesting. Answer with the name for the vulnerability that's given as the section title in the scan output. A vulnerability scan can take a while to complete. In case you get stuck, the answer for this question has been provided in the hints here. However, it is good to still run the scan and get used to using it, as it can be invaluable. Okay, let's go through the scan and find what is the vulnerability that makes this box susceptible to denial of service. Okay, let's go down. These are the OS detections, fingerprint. So here, nothing. Let's go up. Yeah, this is not the scan for vulnerabilities. This is our customized scan. Let's run one here. Oh, we have one actually, has finished. So this was the scan for vulnerabilities. Let's see here. Let's go down, and we see it in the details of the web server here. We see the flags, the details of the headers. We see some issues in the HTTP server. Among them are HTTP CSRF, couldn't find any CSRF vulnerabilities, fine. HTTP DOM-based XSS, couldn't find any XDOM vulnerabilities. DOM-based XSS. These are it it was enumerating for the vulnerabilities, and here it outputted the results. So we can see here one HTTP Slowloris check. It is vulnerable. Slowloris DOS attack. So the current web server is vulnerable to denial of service attack, Slowloris. So the answer is this one. And you are done now. That's it. So that's it for the basics of Nmap scan. Now you would tell me how can I evade firewalls, how can I evade intrusion prevention systems, how can I control the number of packets being sent to the target, how can I control the type of these traffic, how can I split the packets, how can I assemble them. Now these kind of stuff are advanced Nmap scanning, and I have created some videos on evading firewall with Nmap scan. I'm going to put the video in the description box, and of course we can find it in the video cards. So that was it, and see you in the next video.